All right, welcome everyone. Wow, it has been a while, hasn't it? Been a couple weeks, I think, since our last reunion. I'm just double checking the stream here. Like I said, paranoid, always paranoid, but we're having a throwback episode today. Another not really Friday Night Frontline, but it just so happens that this is taking place on a Friday night, so that counts in my book. Oh man, dude, got a lot. So tonight's not going to be a super long episode. Yeah, everyone's just staring at me. They're always just looking at me. But tonight's not going to be a super long episode. We're just going to do a little bit of gambling here for, let's see if we get the Klukini. And then we're going to do some expansion drills and other random content. See, look at this. Now I'm getting warnings from YouTube saying that the stream is messed up. It's just infinite technical errors. Whatever. We'll just struggle through it tonight, and then I'll, once again, take a look at this in the future. But yeah, we got some expansion drills. We're gonna do a teeny tiny bit of gambling. Let's cover future news and upcoming stuff. As you can see, we got a little guest here in the corner of the screen. That is G41. I'm very excited to see when they bring her out. I thought she was going to be the next character. So she gets previewed in Basti's event. And I'm super hyped for it. I'm not so hyped to see what they do with her kit. I'm scared they're going to butcher it, but we'll see. But yeah, so let's cover news. Okay. So last we left off, man, what was the last episode that we did? So the last episode we did, we were, I believe we had just gambled for Lewis. Oh, look at this. Like the stickers are like glow in the dark through the window here. My collage up there. Look at this century. You see, it's like super bright. But so I think last time we left off, we had gambled and we had gotten Lewis, and that was the beginning of the end. Oh man, it has been a week. Yeah, that's right. Because then we did Gunsmoke after that, and then I took a week off. So that was also the beginning of Basti's event on CN side. The short version for Basti is after seeing a lot of the I don't want to say preliminary, but like a lot of the testing people have done with her, she's a pretty solid unit at segment 0, and she gets a little better with a couple segments after that. Like she adds more like team-wide support, and then she starts to once again kind of be silly at segment 6, which is at this point kind of expected. Almost every unit in the game starts to get kind of weird at segment 6, but when I say kind of silly, I mean like she starts doing more damage than some of the actual damage dealers on the team. It's hard to really get information from the CN side because, you know, the translation and the language barrier, but I was seeing screenshots and reports of like her like out DPSing like Lynn. Now once again, that's not exactly a fair comparison because two things. One, I have no idea if these were like segment 6 Lyns, segment 1 Lyns, like you can't tell by screenshots. And in addition to that, a good chunk of the damage that Lynn contributes to the team is hidden behind this little demon's DPS score, right? Because like Lynn reprocs the dots, but it gets contributed to Klukai's damage when you look at a damage chart. So Lynn seems artificially way lower, and Klukai seems artificially way higher. But nonetheless, the results still are pretty much the same. Is that a high segment Basti is like pulling out numbers that are on par or better than Lynn, which is that's surprising from the quote healer of the team. I mean, it's not too unheard of, right? I guess if you think about it, a segment 6 Springfield has like the same overall. It's just weird. It's just a very weird design decision. So In addition with that, like I said, they previewed good old G41 there. I just assumed that G41 was going to be the next character, but it seems that is not the case. They previewed, they gave you like the hints, right? For CN, they do like a couple days ahead of time. They kind of link like like a teaser, like a little corner of a screenshot or like part of a character's leg or something like that, and they'll be like, "Oh, guess who it is?" Well, it does not appear to be G41 at all. a lot of the guesses right now are saying it's General Lu, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. It's like, not that I don't like General Lu as a character, it's just that is a very weird decision for releasing next. Like, here's what I don't understand. What is the point of having roadmaps? And like for example, on CN side, they did the like upcoming character preview where they had the 4 silhouettes, and it was Sopmod, G41. Well, I can say it now, but like the alternate Groza, which is weird because storyline reasons, there's like no reason why she would be whatever. So alternate Groza, which people are assuming is going to be 5-star Groza, and then Sextans, which they've been literally teasing for like a year now. And it's like, okay, guys, if you're gonna release her, just freaking release her. Like, stop with this. Anyway, what's the point of even putting out that that little like coming soon map if none of those characters are the ones that are coming soon, right? Like G41 was the closest one we were getting because she, like said, now she's like actually has character art and she's like quote in the game. Sopmod is still MIA. No, no estimate on her. And then, like I said, same thing with the other two. It's just essentially Sextons. Like, I don't know how much longer they can do this for. Just weird. What's up, guys? Hello, Mixa and good old Paul. I'm glad the stream's working for you, Paul. Like I said, YouTube is just being weird. Sometimes it says things, I don't believe it. I don't know what to believe anymore. We live in a society. I'm just running around the dorm here while I talk. So anyway, that's CN news. Upcoming character we'll probably know for sure in the next couple days is General Lu. No idea her element. G41 I expect to be pretty quick after that. Like I said, I'm definitely scared what they're gonna do with her kit, because a lot of the character kits lately have been either hit or miss. Like, it's either you're a really solid, well-designed character, or you're kind of a hot mess. And we're probably gonna get into that right now when I start talking about Lewis in the PNC event. But yes, so I'm also not so sure about what's going to happen with the elements for G41. People are assuming Hydro, maybe Electric, right? Electric, I was talking with some people. Electric is plausible, but it's kind of weird because she's an assault rifle, so that would mean the current meta assault rifle team is 2 assault rifles, 3 assault rifles, 2 submachine guns, which is kind of a throwback to the original GFL's like team building, but at the same time, they seem to be, they don't want to do that, right? In almost every team, it's like you usually have like handguns and like rifles and other things mixed in. So it'd be kind of weird to have an element that's all assault rifles and submachine guns. But Water is also desperately in need of some help. They released more art. Really does seem to be the General, General Lu, and then the dartboard. Oh yeah, so I haven't even gotten to the EN side of the dartboard. We're gonna talk about that in a second, but and what's my thoughts on the physical units? So that's the problem. The Mixa asked, I said, what's my thoughts on the physical units? And the part that's really weird is, are you talking about the EN side of things, or are you talking about the CN side of things? EN side of things, the answer is simple. It doesn't exist. The physical team for EN is kind of a hot mess. It's Ulrid. The end. Diane got kind of left behind She's not like, her niche of being super mobile is, once again, just like all the Vanguards suffer from this problem. It's just not needed. Yuhi, I think. All right, here's my hot take for the day. I think Yuhi is a horrible unit and a horrible character. Like, not like design wise, I mean like gameplay wise. She gets better at higher segments, right? This, in my opinion, should have been in her base kit. This is like an artificial, like, this is just like an artificial fortification. This is not, so first of all, stability, offense 2 versus 1. This is not very noticeable in any team except electric, because electric units obviously scale damage based off of stability damage. Attack up 2 is also a decent buff, but to be honest, there are so many units in the game that give this out now. It's not so rare that it's like highly sought after. For example, I believe it's Centurisi. Let me just double check before I say that. Centurisi segment 1, I believe, does that. I lied. That's Blazing Assault. This is the one that's a little more rare. It's specifically for fire units. Which is cool because that means it stacks with attack up 2. But I know, for example, Springfield's gun gives it, right? Yeah, attack up 2 from the weapon, I believe, gets it starting. Or no, I lied. Vectors is Blazing Assault as well, isn't it? Yeah, I lied. Okay. So anyway, there's a couple other units that give it as well. Like I said, I'm having a mind blank off who they all are. But this is nothing game breaking that they should lock it behind an entire segment. 2 turns is decent. This is incredibly useful because remember, this is tied to her alt, right? So this part down here, having to apply to everyone on the first turn you use it. This is also like, I feel like this just needs to be part of the base kit. And then this whole text in here makes her somewhat usable in like other teams. A flying defense down is nice. This is actually kind of huge, reducing damage taken by allies by 30%. So the problem is with Yuhi, until you get segment 2 or 3, she's 3 being another huge amount of buffs, and like I said, allows her to stack best answer quickly. I think it brings the cooldown of this to, is it 3 turns? Yeah, 3 turns. Anyway, at segment 2 and 3, she plays like a completely different unit. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that. Because what this does is it pollutes discussion around a character's viability. People will say Yuhi is a good character, but when they say that, they mean segment 3 and above, Yuhi is a good character. Because also, at high segments, she starts to do crazy damage, right? Like, I think it's this one specifically. Improv starts to get crazy multipliers on it. It starts to do Unga Bunga damage, and then I think she shoots one out. Well, whatever, just trust me. She's doing a lot of damage at higher segments. So she becomes a real unit then. The problem is at segment 0, she feels horrible to use. So I don't think I think she's a bad unit, straight up. Now, like I said, everyone really likes her because character design and because, like I said, people say that she's good. She is relatively flexible when it comes to slotting her in teams at segments like 3 and above. But that's the problem. It's like we're talking about 2 different things, so it gets super messy. So bringing that all back to your question, Ixa, is that the physical units in the game, I think, are horrible. They're tied to Yuhi because she's the only support for the physical element, but the way she does it is like really kind of goofy, right? It's all about the defense shred. So they've tried to shoehorn the defense shred playstyle into physical, which is just, I don't like it personally. It functions, but it's just, there's a lot of weird. So for example, let me try and express this a little better. It's essentially a stacking damage buff, but you have to go through a lot of mental gymnastics to get there, right? Instead of just being like every time you stack whatever, 1 stack of the other thing I hate about her is like all her abilities are embedded in each other and you have to like drill down in all these menus to get to the one you want. Here, instead of just having something like this, never give up, where you just, this could just reread, allows you to do extra damage, right? Whatever. Instead of 50% defense ignore, it'd be like, I don't know, 10% extra damage, maximum, whatever, 8 stacks or something. But you have to do like a 3-step conversion process mentally to convert that into these numbers to get these ratios to that. It's just like, come on, man, what are you doing? Like, it's just unnecessary math. And I get it. It helps it scale in different ways. But like I said, there's just, I feel like there was so much more elegant ways they could have gone about this. And it's just not very interactive. Because at the end of the day, you are doing a very, you're basing an entire play style against defense shredding or essentially buff stacking. Because you have to, because the defense shredding is like a combination of debuffs on enemies and buff stacking on your units, but whatever. You're essentially just, you know, you could have replaced the whole thing with like whatever. I don't know, corrosion. Like I said, corrosion kind of does the same thing, right? Just in a different form. They put a dot that just does more damage. You could have just had a stacking buff. Anyway, the other issue is that the physical units don't synergize too well. Like, you can see this because, once again, this is not thought out very well from the beginning. This was just something they tacked on there. Where's Diane? I'm looking right at her. Diane, they decided her key to fit this playstyle. It's just all of a sudden, here, we're just going to throw defense ignore on everything. Here, you get defense ignore. And now, Ulrid also somewhere in this... Oops, not this one. Somewhere in this 37 lines of text starts to ignore defense as well. Maybe it's this one. I don't remember. So they just start shoving defense ignore on all the physical units, and it's just a big mess, dude. In addition to that, the only reason physical is relevant is because of AK-15. So I guess that's one way to fix the problem. Take a sledgehammer to it. You botch the design on the physical team so badly, and you make it so clunky and awkward that you just say, fuck it, we'll just make AK-15 do 8 bazillion damage, which I guess makes the element competitive, but for not good reasons. That's a rant and a half right there. And yeah. Blazing Assault and attack up, don't stack. We can check this real quick. I thought they did, because they're 2 different buffs. If they don't, then I stand corrected, and they got way worse. Like, that buff got like way worse. Let's just do, Hongju can do it. She can do Blazing Assault and then attack up. We can do Spring. Watch, she'll get her random buff she gets was be attack up. No, okay, she didn't get it. Okay, so 48-55. Blazing Assault brings it to 50-90. Okay, and let's just check. It's gonna skip my turn, isn't it? Gonna put a 3rd unit on there. Okay, so Blazing Assault is in effect, and... Ooh, maybe you're right. Oh, looks like you're right. Okay, I learned something today, and that makes this buff horrible then. Yeah, because she should be getting... How did I never notice that? You know, it's not too surprising because there's a couple other things that function this way. For example, Meech T's key that does defense reduction does not stack with any other defense reduction. It's essentially defense reduction 2, but they kind of lie about it, right? It's this key. Here. This one's called Acid Corrosion, but it's defense reduction 2 in disguise, and it does not stack with defense reduction 2. So this is not too surprising that Blazing Assault and attack up 2. So, okay, so to correct what I said, Yuhi's even worse than I thought she was, because, like I said, there's so many ways to get attack up 2 between Blazing Assault and other ways that this is just like, she doesn't become a real unit till, I feel like, segment 3. Segment 2, she starts to be a little better, but anyway. Which this whole big rant leads into my issue. So I'm sorry. Let me finish answering Mix's question. those are my thoughts on physical team. I hate it. I don't like the physical team. My nightmare scenario right now is that G41 gets tossed in the physical element, and I cry. That's the worst possible timeline. But Mixa asks, will they be a good investment in the future meta? Like I said, AK-15 just absolutely destroys the game's balance, what little there was. So yes and no. AK-15, who is a physical element character, single-handedly just carries the entire element on her back. The outside of her, you have characters like UMP40, which another character that they did kind of not great on their like kit design as a whole. So UMP40 already got, we don't have her because the schedule, we're gonna get to that. Before I can get you on, we're already 20 minutes in, but I should probably apologize that today is just gonna be a lot of complaining. I feel like I'm just gonna spend the entire and we're gonna start playing the game here in a second. We're gonna just be doing a lot of complaining, which is unfortunate. I don't want to be negative, but there's just so many L's. We took so many L's in the last couple weeks, guys. I don't know, man. I just don't know. So, will they be a good investment in the future meta? The future meta is AK-15. If you're going to segment 6 AK-15 or borrow one, then yes, you could probably get a Yuhi. They would be pretty solid. Ulrid is okay at higher segments. Ulrid kind of pops off. Even at low base segments, she does decent right now. It's just, once again, the problem is the team as a whole doesn't really, like, she's kind of shoehorned into the element, right? It's just really weird. UMP40 gets a little better after her key, but they still kind of drop the ball on her kit a little bit. Once again, AK-15 just is the premier damage dealer for that team, and it's just like everyone else is just kind of like whatever. And you know there's a problem with that team because it ends up going the way of the old school Klukai, where it's just like every single team for like Gunsmoke and stuff, which is the only high difficulty content where you can actually like utilize these characters to their maximum potential. Every single team in the future will be like Yuhi, AK-15, and then 3 other people. Like, that's how you know. And it's not necessarily 3 physical people. It'd be like 3 burn units, 3 hydro units, 3 corrosion units. Like, that's the part that's weird. It's like AK-15 and Yuhi go onto the team as like the building blocks, or like staple them onto any existing comp. It's just weird. Oh yeah, thanks Paul. M200, I forgot, or Shene is yeah, the problem is I don't know what the release schedule is going to look like, Paul, right? So that's the weird thing, right? So Shene, or M200, is the physical sniper that they just got released, but she can't, for story reasons, show up. So they're just going to totally throw that out the window of like trying to keep us in sync story-wise. She can't show up till after AK-15 shows up. So at that point, does it really matter? Like M200 does a lot of single target, obviously. She scales pretty well too. But yeah, it's like, it's kind of like the Klukai problem. It's like, you already got Klukai segment 6. Do you really also need Lind segment 6? Like, I mean, I guess you could take both of them. Let's do a little gambling here. That's, I mean, the game balance is all, it's all whack, guys. It's all whack. Where are we at? We're at 45. I think we get something. We're gonna go another 5 to get to an even 50. But oops, not this. Details. Yeah, it was under details. Oh, records here. I lied. We're not guaranteed anything today, but we're gonna try. Ooh, I got a Groza. An aggressively shooting Groza. Paul says, to be honest, if you have Klukai Segment 6, normal content is already super easy. Boy Mestina changes nothing. And you are correct, which is, like I said, it kind of leads back. Look at another Groza. This time it's like serious focus Groza. And yes, that's kind of the problem here, is that the game has gone in a weird split where it's like, you don't need any of these characters, but you're trying to like estimate their worth and their value. It's just really goofy. All right, guys, last one. Oh, something. We got something. It's not the Clukini. Oh no, it's... I'm not super upset about this, but it would have been nice. I don't even know what my other options were for... I already got the Andrisk outfit, so yeah, I guess it had to be that. It was either the Clukini or that. Oh, I guess it could have been one of these other ones. Like these, I haven't gotten this yet, but... Okay, well, we'll have to save up for another 10 pull. This might be a long ways in the future before we... I'm probably going to end up going to, whatever, 80 or 90 on this. I just feel it. So, okay. Get that out of the way. Hey, dude, I do enjoy me some... I'm less excited about the gold chips because I'm finally getting to the point where I have almost gold calibrated weapons for everyone. Not that you can ever have too many. But I am really excited about the keys because I still need to... Did I ever finish yours? I did. But you can always evolve more of the keys. I'm really hyped about that. Okay. Let's change topics slightly. Let me see. I talked about Sion News. We talked about Basti. We talked about the previews for the upcoming characters not being G41. We talked about them having roadmaps that they don't follow. Oh, yeah. Inside. Okay, so for those of you who didn't see in the last day or two, they released the Balin Shelter broadcast, which I'm going to also multitask, and I'm going to play the game while I complain. So they released that the next unit is Sakura. This leads back to what I just said a minute ago. It's like, why do we even have roadmaps if we're not going to follow them? I don't even know who goes on this last spot. Left cluckers. We're just going to speed through these like low level ones, and then I'll actually use like a real team to do whatever number 10 is. But so they, like I said, remember when at the end, I think it was 2 Balins ago, right after the event, right? They're like, okay, here's the electric units. There's going to be a physical unit next, or you know, their physical team is going to be getting some love soon. And then they decided, just kidding. Like, and now we've had 2 fire units in a row. So, like I said, a lot of weird things happening, a lot of weird, questionable decision making. Don't know why you would say that we're getting a bunch of... The only thing I can think of is that there's either major miscommunication or there is panic last-minute changes happening, which actually would not surprise me in the slightest. Because I don't know why you would have the team that's putting out the media material, well, you know, recording and doing like Mo and everything. I don't know why that team would be told, yes, the next character is going to be physical, and they tease it, and then, like, just kidding, it's not. There's, you know, it really does beg the question. So we're getting Sakura next, which means we're going to have another fire unit. So fire is going to be swimming in units, as per usual. And poor... everybody else is going to be struggling. Like, this is the problem I have with it. It's not that I don't like Sakura. It's that the fire element is so saturated already. I just don't know why they would release yet another fire unit. I mean, I know that they're kind of limited on what they can pick from, but in my opinion, here's a hot take. It should have just been the major event, right? We were at, they're just dragging their feet, right? They're talking about how we're constantly, oh yeah, we're gonna catch up with CN any day now, any minute we're gonna catch up with CN, and it's like, no, we're not. Like, you guys just keep talking about this, but you're not actually doing it. Can I stand one? I guess I'll just stand here, buddy. Time to run 2 fire teams. Yeah, I think that's the other part that has put a bad taste in my mouth about the whole thing. Is not only do we have a billion fire units right now, they overlap so much, right? Like, they just, Mika, once again, in their infinite wisdom, decided to do the craziest thing ever. And it's like, okay, cool. Fire as an element with, like, kind of the identity of a follow-up attack, like, support team, where it's like one unit makes an action and then 20 million support attacks get generated because of it. That was kind of like the identity of the, okay. That's kind of the identity of the element. And then they're like, okay, well, let's have Fire 2.0 so we can sell the same team but different. And that's the part that's like really frustrating, is like they're moving away from the support attack unit spam to replace it with the Ember mechanic. But at the same time, they're not really moving away from it, because it's like it's anchored around certain units. Like Chongju is still like kind of on the team. I don't know. It's just, dude, it's just a hot mess. Like, I don't even know how to say it. Like, the team functions just fine, and they're gonna like they're reinventing the wheel for no reason. Anyway, Sakura's part of that new wave of 2.0 units that do Ember. He's kind of whatever. Her whole character is memes. You know, driving a truck into people. She's not bad. They did a good job once again. The art team, as usual, killing it. They did a good job with her design. How can I? One person can go down here. I think Mishi and Ukai on this side. And Lynn come to here. Linda's just awkward because she has to. Oh, whatever. This is the whatever number 9. So this leads into my soon-to-be rant about this, right? Oh, okay, that hit a lot harder than I thought it was going to. Die over here. Activate that. Continue this way. So, as you guys probably noticed, I did not put out a guide for Lewis. And the reason for that was because I spent a above average amount of time testing her in Gunsmoke that same week. And the more I tested, dude, it was like a roller coaster. First, I went from like, I got cheated, this is the worst unit ever, to this unit's better than people were saying she was, to kind of somewhere in the middle. And that's kind of where I've settled. Is that she is decent, but once again, it's just awkward because it's like she doesn't do anything special, right? Like, she's kind of interchangeable with units that already exist, and they're trying to get you to invest in a second fire team, Fire 2.0, with like this Ember mechanic, but they're not giving anyone a good reason to. It's just very awkward. Yeah, I skipped new burn units. I prefer cover over cover of elements, and yeah, that's exactly where I'm at, dude. I'm probably gonna just totally skip Sakura I usually grab every character, but at this point, I'm just gonna skip and hold to see what they do in the next couple character releases. I'm at that point where it's like, I mean, you can see when we get to the next fight. This one is, like I said, this is difficulty 9, so it doesn't even count. But you'll see in the next fight, I'll use the quote normal team, like that doesn't have my segment 6 Lind, and it's still gonna just wipe the floor with Frenzy 18. I mean, I guess I could crank it up to Frenzy 40, but there's no reward for doing that, so you know, whatever. You're gonna see, like, this is one of the big struggles of the game. Is it Flareburst? Oh my god, look who's finally back. Holy shit, it has been a hot minute. I was thinking that just the other day. I'm like, man, they got so many bosses in this game. Star Rail, it's like Hule every other week, and in this game it's like, bro, you see a boss one time, he won't come back for like a year. Ooh, look at, they even made it. Ooh, look at this. Look at this. Man. Fancy arena. Look at this. Prevent the enemy from withdrawing and wipe them out. Look at them. They're getting all fancy. We're doing... Oh, they even got these things? Oh my gosh. This is the highlight. This is the highlight of my gameplay for this game. That we're finally getting some interesting creative stuff here. What are these things? So you kill them. I mean, they don't have a lot of health, but... Don't worry, I'll get back to complaining in a second here. I'm gonna guess this doesn't work because there is no mysterious girl on the map. Interesting. Okay, let's... This one teleports to there. I think we have... Can Lind get down from here? No. Because Lind has elevation problems where she can't hit across elevations. So I think she needs to just pick an elevation and stick. So I think Lind is coming to here. She's just gonna... HT here. I want the first attack. I don't know if it's gonna... I think it's still gonna target over here. Kukai, Lind can come here. Tololol, I think, does the... I think Tololol is gonna be... Oops. This actually should be okay. Tololol can just keep hopping between these two portals and, like, shooting down on everyone. That'll work just fine. Springfield probably needs to be a little more flexible on her position. Try that. I know I could have deployed the turrets, but I don't think we even need them. Let's... Actually, because Klukai probably has nothing better to do, do we actually have to... Maybe we can do a little bit of buff stacking? Okay, with the attack 2 up buff, we maybe kill them. Ooh. What key do I have on her right now? All right. I want Misti's Corrosion to go on the boss, and I know these guys are gonna soak it first. So let's just see if we can crit. If we crit, we're good. We're good. This is a segment 0. Kukai, by the way, for those of you wondering. Ugh, we're gonna be 1 tile off though, and I don't really see any other options, so that's what we're going with. This just shows you that even at segment 0, Kukai is a good unit, despite what people will tell you. Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot. It's okay, she had nothing else to do. All right, so this should allow this to go on the boss now. Perfect. I kind of goofed. Springfield... Oh, no, I didn't, because Lind can do this. Alright, we're gonna just dumpster him. I wasn't sure if he had Mega Ultra Damage Reduction, like he normally does. with stability, but I think we just chunk them. This is, I said, we're gonna, I'll take this Lind out of the team for the frenzy modes, but I just kind of want to breach this real quick. And then I guess you can come to here. I'm also catching up on chat a little bit, sorry. I probably should have saved Klukai's ult for this turn, to be honest. This is overkill. Like, it's gonna die. Yeah, let's do that, because Lind, once again, can't attack up elevations. This won't matter. When Lind goes, the boss is gonna die, but I'm just curious for the next frenzy mode one. Yeah, so sorry, Paul. Like I said, I've been ranting here. Oh my god, I actually have to kill all of them? So toxic. It's gonna take a while. Okay, I mean... Little Klukai here is gonna get a lot of work done, I think. Is there even anyone else for her to attack? These guys over here, but we'll have to wait a turn. That's awkward. Whatever, she's gonna mess up her rotation now. I lied, Michi's gonna do it. So yeah, so Paul is saying that if you have, sorry, like I said, I'm a little behind on this, Paul, so I know you typed this out like 10 minutes ago, but you make a good point, right? So Paul's point is that when you create new units, you have to have new mechanics for the elements, right? So new mechanic is just better than having the old stuff but doing more, which I agree with. I feel like the new mechanic they did for fire is kind of garbage, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of the way Ember stacks work. Like, it feels... Maybe with a team full of characters that create Ember, it might not feel so bad, but right now it just feels very awkward. I'm interested to see what they do for other mechanics for teams. The issue is that they kind of have, like, they're having a weird identity crisis. In that a lot of teams and elements don't really have a theme that works for all of them. I think Lind is just going to hang out. Kill anyone who spawns on this side of the arena. Like, for example, Hydro, I'm not really sure what Hydro's theme is exactly. Is Hydro's theme pets, or is it multi-action turns? You know? And the same goes for a bunch of other stuff. There's a lot of... Did she just kill him? Good. I don't have to move. You know, fire, once again, what is fire? Is it about follow-up attacks, or is it about generating... Well, now it's generating embers. There's a lot like that. Corrosion, same thing. It's like, what is corrosion? Is it dots and debuffs, or is it... Well, corrosion is just all about fluffing Klukai. That's what corrosion is, but... you know, it's kind of a weird element. This is good. I can fix my rotation now. This should kill everybody. Perfect. And then you stand here. Everyone else just kind of hangs out for a turn. Yeah, this is the last wave. We can just do whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of like electric is finally their niche seems to be stability break and what it's called. We'll call it what it is, super break damage. I know that's gonna upset a lot of people. I lied. That was not the last wave. I misread that as 25 needed. All right, well, everyone back to work. It's gonna be a lot of just ending my turn. Yeah, I don't know. Yes. One shot, everyone. And I fix that with an attack up. Should give me just enough to finish. Yeah. Can Nishi just do this, or does Lind have to actually put in effort? So yeah, anyway, I would like to see what they're going to do for the other elements as far as their like class gimmick. I just, you know, I have no idea what they're going to do because they and to be honest, it doesn't seem like they know either. Oh, sorry, Paul. You could not do Klukai 4040 for this one. Actually forced me to switch things up. Why couldn't you do 4040? I'm interested. We'll see in about a second here when I look at the debuffs. Why can't you do 4040? Is it because of this? I'm gonna guess it's because of this. Which is weird because I would still think you could get around this, right? Like you could still brute force it. Damage dealt by enemy units is increased. Allied units' mobility is reduced. This could be kind of annoying, but once again, there's ways around this. All right, so let's see what we're gonna pick. We'll do a nice casual 18 like usual. Sure, nothing's gonna live. Additional enforcements. We can probably do the flyers. That I don't think will be a problem. This one is horrible. I hate using this one. We'll see if we have to take it. Cerberus Strike. Its damage is increased. Which one is Cerberus Strike? I can never remember. Cerberus Attack. Good, neither can they. I assume Cerberus Strike is Cerberus Attack. But that one doesn't do damage. So is it Entanglement Cannon? When Flare Burst uses Cerberus Strike, its damage increases. Okay. Every time, guys. Every single time. This is the problem when you use machine translation for your game. There's not consistency. You'd think there would be, because you'd think it would translate it the same way every single time. I am going to assume Cerberus Attack is Cerberus Strike. So I'm going to assume every time he summons the Hounds, he's going to get a 50% damage up buff for the rest of the fight. Okay, Paul says the boss was too tanky. Cougars did basically 0 damage, and I'm guessing it's because of that debuff you just talked about. We just talked about this one. The ads could one-shot you. Out of curiosity, Paul, were you running just Springfield, or did you run Andrus and Springfield? Because that usually prevents you from getting one shot, although, you know, with it spawning multiple ads, you might just get 2 shot instead. I don't know if that solves it, but... Anyway, so we need to get a couple more. Let's take that one. This is actually kind of spicy because they stagger the enemies, right? So some of the enemies are spawning in on turn 6 with this huge damage increase, and there's nothing you can do about it. Unless this is, I actually don't know off the top of my head. If this one is a stacking buff on them, we'll just take it. We'll take it and find out. I don't know if this is just global per turn, or if this is something like every turn that the enemy is alive, they get a stack of 10% damage buff. We'll try it. We're gonna use a not cheaty team for this. I'm not gonna use Lind. Wherever she went, there we go. Get out of here, maybe. I think we're just gonna use a normal fire team because I kind of wanted to talk about fire team world we live in today. Although Centrarisi is not a great healer for this, I don't think. I would much rather have. This one's going to be Struggle City, actually. This is kind of an awkward team to be using. Okay, so before we get into this, let's talk about Lewis for a hot minute here. I did a lot of testing with Lewis during Gunsmoke and stuff because I kept getting conflicting info. From my... We did testing when she came out, right? The day that she came out, we grabbed her and we started doing testing. And I'm not a huge fan of the way that her merit stacks, I believe it's called, for the tin soldiers, right? Merit stacks. Yes, I'm not a huge fan of how you accumulate merit stacks. It's a little too restrictive. But anyway, I did a lot of testing with her, and I don't know what the hell is going on in the general like community as a whole. But there is a lot of, like, just... I don't want to say bad. I want to say tainted information that's going on. Getting a simple answer from other people... I've seen this not necessarily for my own sake, because I just did the testing myself, but I saw a lot of people questioning what Lewis's role and viability is in the current game. And, well... it was kind of a hot mess, is the short answer. People were just saying all sorts of random stuff, like everything from you need segment 2 Lewis plus a weapon to beat a Sharkery, to she's a very important core part of the team, to she's an easy skip if you don't want to get her and a future fire units. It's just like big mess of info out there. I did a lot of testing with her. I said, I don't know where people are coming up with a lot of these ideas and takes, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that a lot of this info, once again, is being drip fed from CN, and you're getting conflicting info. For example, people were saying Lewis is a core part of the fire team, with the assumption that you're running a segment 6 Kyohan. Now, that is true for Gunsmoke. That is not true for other gameplay modes. And once again, that's kind of a weird assumption to make, right? Like that everyone is going to be running a segment 6 Kyoha. Now, in addition to that, Lewis becomes her own like single target hypercarry damage dealer at her own segment 6. But like I said, that's kind of expected. So just trying to get the basic sense of like where this unit is at is just it's kind of a disaster. Let's deploy the rest of the team. So in my experience from all my testing, in the quote fire team, which right now exists, say like this, she doesn't replace Sharkery at all. So this is the weird part, right? I don't understand why people were saying and trying to say that she's a side grade to Sharkery or a better Sharkery. She doesn't replace Sharkery in the team. In this current team, she replaces a low segment Kyohan. Now, once again, if you have segment 6 Kyohan, then she doesn't replace it. And then obviously segment 6 Kyohan becomes the main damage dealer, like the main carry of the team, because you just want to stack her Scorch Mart to infinity, which changes the entire team building. But to say that a base segment Lewis doesn't go on this team is just weird to me. Like you'd replace Sharkery is just weird, because this is the team you'd run right now. Centrarisi is going to get replaced pretty quickly here because Vector is going to get her mod key that lets her heal, and then Vector is going to be the all-in-one healer plus damage amp plus damage dealer for the team. Centrarisi is going to be homeless again for the third game in a row. But In the meantime, you're using Sharkery and Lewis. We'll kind of see why in a second here. Let me go to this. I don't know. I think I just want the sentry guns up here. How many can I put? Can I put another one? Daze Miss? Which one? What does this do again? This is the... Oh, stun. And I don't know where else to place these. I want these guys here to chip stability off of Flare Burst. I don't think they're going to be needed to kill the side adds, although this team doesn't have a ton of mobility, so that might be a problem. They also don't have any AoE, a good AoE. We're going to just try this and see how it goes. Make sure they're all in the right spots. Hongju's going to come up here and probably turret mode from this spot. Vector can run around here. Centurici has to be downstairs to... Ooh, this is going to be awkward. So the two closest need to be Sharkery and Vector to get the Tin Soldiers. I don't know what happens if I put Centurici right here. I don't think it's going to pick her. I think it's... I mean, it might pick her. What I'm worried about. Can I... What if I do this? There we go. That solves it. That's how to use your noggin. That should be good. Whew. A lot of talking. I did see your message earlier, Loco, about advice on the selector ticket if you have segment 1 Springfield Vector Yuhi. You can the short answer to that is you can continue down the Yuhi line as we discussed earlier. She gets significantly better at higher segments, like specifically segment 2 and 3. I personally think if you're a fire team enjoyer like myself, getting segment 2 Vector is very, very powerful because with her key that's coming in the upcoming patch with Sakura, you're going to be able to ult every 2 turns, which will be able to keep that attack up buff from her segment 2 up indefinitely. So she will get a lot of value from her segment 2 because you'll be cleansing your team every other turn, and you'll be putting an attack up 2 on the whole team every other turn. So it's very, very strong. Like I said, Yuhi, if you want to start going down that line of like a higher segment Yuhi, everybody else on that selector is like, you know, kind of just if you feel like it type thing. Yeah, so Nightcrawler, sorry, I'm also catching up for chat. Lewis with Ember, Sakura with Afterburners are the same thing. Yes, I know, it's another translation issue. Afterburners are what they called it on CN's translation. And Ember is what they call it on EN, yeah. I don't know if I misspoke there, but I'm pretty sure I did not confuse the two, considering it's the same thing. And then Paul was saying his 40-40 run was Springfield, Tolo, Lind, Michti, and... Yeah, so if... Paul, I think you probably could have dropped... Probably could have dropped... I would say drop Michti for Andorus, because if it's a survivability issue, but I mean, Michti does do a lot of... She amps Lin and Klukai's damage. Whatever. You figured it out. You know, you're good to go. You don't need my help. What free gun would an average player choose? Refer to my previous statement. The best gun out of that pool, if you don't have it already, is Springfield's gun, just because it is a big boost to the team's survivability. How can we do this? I'm trying to think. Same time. The second best gun I feel from that grouping is probably Vector's gun if you're going to do a fire team, and Michti's gun if you already have a high segment Klukai. Michti is like surprisingly powerful now with her neural key that keeps her in sleep mode. If you can, especially if you're pairing her with any sort of segment Lind, Michti, as you just saw when I did this last time, she kind of slaps. And the fact that she can hit enemies across the map, I feel adds like huge amounts of value to her. So I think the Michti gun is a race. You could also said, like I said, also Yuhi, but in order of importance for sure, it is Springfield's weapon, and then to be honest, whatever the weapon for whatever element you like the most. So Vector is fire. Meech T if you're running a heavy corrosion team, and you could get Yuhi's weapon, but as I've explained, I hate Yuhi personally. But if you're gonna go down the physical team path, you know, that's a not horrible choice. Okay, back to the game. That's right, this is a single target. This is not actually an AoE. Gross. This is actually going to be the problem with this team, is that I just don't have enough attacks to kill all these guys. I want to focus the boss here, but someone is going to have to be running around cleaning up all these ads, which they're not super tough. So even someone like Centurisi can probably kill them, yeah, but they really want... I think weirdly enough, Lewis is going to get stuck cleaning this up. Or she's so awkward she can't really hit them all. Alright, well, you're coming to here. And as I did that, I realized that that might have been a mistake. I think we actually just want to chip these away. The reason I was saying that might be a mistake is because I don't know if this was taking her... Yeah, it was taking her support attacks into account there when it said it was going to kill them. Alright, this is going to get a little messy real quick. I think we're going to try and cover maybe this whole part of the map with fire. Not really. I'm not too worried about this because Vector is going to throw Portent of Doom on him, and it's going to generate fire around him, so he just needs to get clipped by the ult. I think that's good. Which means I wasted... You know what? Let's just fix this. Let's fix this. This first turn is going to be a very suboptimal piece of work here. I think we're going to have Lewis do all the cleanup on this side with Centurisi. This is not really the way you want to play this team, but... have her come back a little. This last one, we'll just kill him next turn. And then... Oh, yeah, I can't attack with Hongju, otherwise she's going to get stuck. Alright, well, we'll do this. Have them start focusing on the boss then. It's one tile too far. What's he doing on his first turn? Nearest target 130. That should be fine. I don't think this is gonna one shot. In fact, this might even go on Changju, so that should be okay. You can do this. They should add AWAS. How do you even say that? AWACS 100. What a name. They should make more maps like this where positioning movement is important. Yes, I'm all about that, dude. This is... Oh, damn, Sharkery's not in range of any of this. That's so unfortunate. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I'm hoping that they do more of in the future, but, you know, we've been hoping and coping for quite a while now. It's like, it's... The gameplay... They're doing such a low effort job on the gameplay. I don't even think I need to do this right now. I don't. Because she's already capped. She's got 2 stacks. Wooly would be proud of me. I finally learned how this works. Well, we're actually kind of slapping him around. Oh, nice. That did go on Changju. Oh, he took the casual way around. Yeah, I hate how these things all take their action right away. That's probably what was killing you, I assume, Paul. When they all spawn in and take their action immediately. Can we Center Reese bomb them? We can, but it won't really do much. But I actually kind of don't have a choice because this turn got kind of janky. I'm one tile away from where I want to be. I think this should finish these guys off. Yes. This is kind of gross, though. I want Lewis to ult this turn. Yeah, the fire team struggles with AoE, that's for sure. Well, we got to do some cleanup first, unfortunately. This is really gross. They're gonna be stuck up here for a little. I'm trying to balance keeping the ads under control so they don't get to the escape point with killing the boss, and to be honest, it's not going great. It's kind of a wasted turn from Sharkery too. Oh, this is a mess. This is a hot mess right now. We're here though. Hopefully another turn of next turn. I think we can go all out and kill the boss, and then I don't know. We're gonna have to play like hardcore cleanup for several turns. So it's kind of cool. You do one attack, and it's like so many come off of it. These turrets are helping with getting all of Changju's attacks off. That was totally planned, by the way. Kind of wish I had at least one AoE unit, not gonna lie. Maybe we can't just no IQ this, unfortunately. Okay, Centurisi can heal the team up. I think we have to do this. I think we have to put the wall up. Oh, can she? Ooh. I need her to do 2 follow-ups, though. Or get 2 confectants at the very least. All right, so let's do this. I think we can get all these guys dead this turn. Maybe that's hoping for too much. All right, guys, we're getting risky here. I don't know if I have enough attacks to do all this, to be honest. I think we're gonna try and kill Flare Burst this turn. Next turn is gonna be like major cleanup. Finally did the. Alright, so then this can activate here. And we can ult to heal everyone. Yeah, Fletcher, you missed earlier my rant about how we have so many fire units, and it's just gonna stay that way, it seems. I mean, we don't need to use cover, right? Cover was like an old, outdated mechanic that they came up with for this game. Yeah, and then next turn she can AoE them. Perfect. If I was smart, I would have had Vector knock this pillar down last turn, but I am not a smart man. But yeah, this is the issue, Fletcher, with the way that they're releasing units as far as so here's the rub. I don't have enough attacks to clean both these up and the boss. So I think, darn it, the vision. Don't stand in the bad. All right, this will kill Flare Briss. I'm not so sure what I'm gonna do about these million ads running all over the place next. I really hope these guys up top don't kill Changju. I think she can take one hit from them, but we'll have to see. Oh really? He still spawned them? That's so toxic. Really? That can knock the pillars over? You gotta be kidding me. Oh, she can live. Oh, no, she can't. Well, that's good, because we have to redo that turn anyway. Tried to get a little risky, and it didn't work. I can't believe that actually kills the pillar. These things don't have HP. Oh, I guess they do. I lied. It's convenient that it fell over on her, though. All right, well, we got to redo that then. Okay. Was it turn 3 we started at, right? Well, this is the beginning of turn 3. Let's see. How can we fix this? Like I said, the easy answer is bring a better team, but, you know, I'm going to be stubborn about this. We could do this. This would get Changju out of trouble. I could hop her over to this pillar. And I just need to not stand next to this thing, because apparently it's going to fall on whoever. Can I still accomplish my goal of killing the boss and not dying? Maybe. What's the range on these guys normally? 5 tiles? You guys ready for like sub 500 IQ? Or like 50 IQ? Let's do this. Let's have Lewis come here. Think about this. Lewis comes here. Sharkery comes here. Changju teleports to here. That actually just outranges all this part of the map, so they can't even do their basic attacks to kill Changju. Both the AoEs will miss, so she'll live, and yeah, that's the plan. We'll see if this works. I do hope we have enough firepower to kill him, though, doing it in this order. Can she even hit him? No, she can't, but that's okay. She doesn't need to. I think we ult still. I guess that is another option. I could just manually push the pillar over. That would also solve this issue. We're gonna try it this way. I'm still getting spicy just by hanging out in the open here. Oh, let's see. Oh, did Vector not go? Well, you know, that might help. Well, whatever. Guess we already kind of knew we'd had to use both of these. Well, this will work out better, because this will actually AoE off of him. Is it enough to kill them, though? Oh, they're gonna live. So, these guys. Okay, so we come to here. Then we come to here. Do I have any more movement? I do. It's just hard to tell. Oh my god. Because he can fly over. Crit. That felt bad using a basic attack, but, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. I was surprised by how much of a tank Lewis is in the minigame. Yeah, dude, in Project Neurocloud, she is their game's equivalent of a bulwark. I don't really remember why. They introduced some weird reasoning. I forgot the exact lore reason, but something about her having like unnatural strength, and I want to say it was like some manufacturing mistake. Ooh, that hurt more than I thought it was going to. Jeez, Lithogas, how come you get to take 2 turns in a row? But yeah, she had like super strength or something. We are getting to the problem of too many guys. Not enough attacks. Okay, I lied. Lewis might be able to help here. Okay, all right. We're gonna make this work, guys. Don't you worry. This is getting janky, more and more janky by the second, but we're gonna make this work. This could easily be solved by bringing like an actual AoE unit, but you know we're gonna do things the hard way. Okay, so I want the heal to go on Sharkery, but I also need to kill these 2 guys over here. How can we accomplish both? Vector. I could just move Sharkery first. We'll do more of this like goofy outrange the enemy style, which is actually kind of working. We gotta be careful. We got a bunch of flying boys coming. These guys can continue to just funnel through here. It's gonna take them forever to get through here, so I'm actually okay with that. Let's... Yeah, I don't like just standing out in the open. It's really just not a good thing to be doing. Should be fine. Really? Did I not get... Well... Crap. I forgot. You need to have... is it Overburn or is it... Yeah, you need to have Overburn before you get the extra heal. Not gonna waste a rewind on that. We'll just heal next turn. That's fine. Lewis or Vector, you just, you know, we're gonna we're playing tower defense here, boys. I'll say, is that pillar gonna fall on somebody? I was gonna rage. I was gonna rage if it somehow fell on Vector. We're recovering here. We're making this as hard as we possibly can for ourselves, but we're still recovering. Okay, how far does this homie go? He can't make it there in 1 turn, so we'll just turtle up. Can we... He said just the number of actions is the limiting factor here, like the number of attacks I can do in a turn. They're not coming till next turn. I think she can run around 1, 2, 3, 4. I think she can run around and do her AoE again on them, which is not great, but I just pre-position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That will get to here. That'll clean them. I think that'll clean them up. This also puts Overburn, so I could have Chonju teleport to here if needed. All right, that's what we're gonna do. Let's try that. Centurisi can heal correctly. Is it insisting that I heal her up there? This is... Wish this stupid switch wasn't in the way. We can fix this. We can fix this with our huge wrinkly monkey brains. There we go. This will also put a one-hit shield on everybody, so this will help. Just get back around that, and then... Actually, I don't want her taking that spot. I want Sharkery to be in that spot. Vector, where do you go? Do you go... Here, here... She'll have her ult next turn. I think her ult is going to just AoE this entire part of the map. Maybe I have her start working on these boards. Although to hit them, she's got to get spooky close. Yeah, really spooky close. Suchonju now. So this is not the way I'd like things to happen, but this is the way things are happening. She'll get cover. I think we just have her kill one of these guys up here. These guys up top are really annoying. Oh, nice. Kind of baited this dude. Damn, they're all thirsty for Vector. Calm down, guys. Calm down, for real. Like, for real. It was a prank. Jesus. Never seen so many thirsty boys. Okay, well, this is awkward, because she can't move now. I mean, so we either have to kill the Weeding Scholar first, so she can move. Centurisi, you got your ult up? She might. She might have her ult up. I would really like Vector just not be in the super spooky position right there. Yeah, I don't think Centurisi's going to be able to get her ult up this turn. Because the only person she can hit is this Weeding Scholar. That means I gotta... Well, you know, no, that's not the end of the world. I think we... Oh, this is such a waste, though. Alright, Sharkery. Why are we doing this? Why is this so jank, dude? Oh, it's so jank. What is happening? Okay, okay. We can ult to get Vector totally topped up. Where do we want to throw her Vector's ult? So I think I'm gonna take this turn to position Vector in the best spot possible. Hit as many dudes as I can with this. Which is still not great, because someone's gonna live. I'm just trying to figure out who that needs to be. Why is this elite flyer dying in like one hit? Was this guy's baby HP 20,000? Really? He's gonna take that much? I guess Lewis's little dolls here are gonna kind of go ham. So I could also just kill this entire part of the map and not have to worry about it, and not have to split my attention. Maybe that's the play. Maybe we come over here to this side, be protected, and we just nuke this entire part of the map. Gotta go one more up. That will kill everyone except... man, I really wish I could throw it right here where this pillar is. Unless... yeah, there's no way I can get... Okay, well, we gotta go here. This will wipe this out, and then I'll only have to worry about what's going on in this half of the map. All right, let's go with that. Oh, lordy. See? Like, look how good this is. Look how good this is, dude. People saying Lewis is bad. A lot of that was because of Lewis's Tin Soldiers attacking and because of the burn buff, or the embers that we got. I think we're having Centurisi come to. Yeah. I'm gonna hope that gave Lewis a good buff. She can just kill without help. Okay, perfect. She can kill without help. Whew, guys, I'm sweating. I'm sweating. This is what happens when you make life more difficult for yourself. There's an easy solution to this map, and then there's the way I'm doing it. I could definitely see why this would give you some troubles, Paul. But even with the Segment 6 Klukai, like... Well, the one nice thing about Segment 6 Klukai is that you'd have lots of mobility. You could be getting to all these corners and blowing up these groups of enemies. The problem is that 80% damage reduction on the... on one of the overcharges, the frenzy levels. That's the part that really is going to cause you issues. Let's just do this. All right, I think this is pretty much... I think we're pretty much home free from now on. Because at this point, there's only one more pillar that can possibly fall on my head and kill me. And I think we finally have the number of ads under control. Like I said, I'm tempted to... This whole part of the map is clean. Nice. Like I said, I'm tempted to try 40-40, but then that goes against everything I am, you know, as a casual tryhard. Can never get a straight line. I will blow them up. Damn, I wanted to throw the surprise fun ball from downtown. I should be careful. Oh no, I lied. That's 38 right there. Okay. I was saying, I'm like, I wonder if there's going to be more after this, but it did take me 8 turns though. So that's, you know, this was a good map. Like I said, and this is the kind of balance they need to go to, right? The frenzy levels can help scale the difficulty a little more. But like just this overall game design of like, it's not all about just a DPS race. Like half of this map's struggle. Like for example, this fire team would just dumpster most of the bosses, even at higher frenzy levels. You could just burn through a lot of them just through pure damage. But because of the map design, like it forces you to do a bunch of things you don't want to do, right? Like you saw me struggling earlier, like having, you know, Sharkery come over here and use basic attacks. Teammates were not in the range of the boss to do follow-ups. Like it got messy, and that's good because that actually gives like good, like player making decision moments. Like I said, this is the kind of stuff they need to lean more into, but they don't want to. This chart is misleading as hell, but I'm going to show it anyway. This is mostly because there's a lot of AoE and Sharkery didn't get to attack the targets that you wanted to most of the time, which, like I said, that's exactly what you want to see in, you know, the game. Back to what I was saying earlier, I did a lot of testing in Gunsmoke Frontline with Lewis, and the short answer is swapping out Kyohan for Lewis in that team. So the 2 teams I tried were fire teams specifically. You had Vector, Chongju, Sharkery, the core, and then the last 2 we had Centurisi because that Gunsmoke required a healer, or really wanted a healer, and so the last slot you either had Lewis or Kyohan. Now, in my experience, swapping Kyohan for Lewis was about a little bit above 20%, like 21 to 24% overall damage increase for the team. That is a segment 0 Lewis with the battle pass weapon. I don't even have her custom weapon, right? If you and I repeated this test several times. I didn't go crazy on the optimizations. Like I didn't use any of the daily buffs. I didn't use I didn't try and do like the min-maxing as far as like having the your teammates soak the goop from the allies. This was just I just kind of straight beat down on the boss, and I kept getting the same results every single time. About, like I said, about a 20% increase. Now, not only is it on paper more of an increase, it just, from a comfort point of view, it is so much better because since the Tin Soldiers proc Chongju's attacks, it made it so much more comfortable to use the team. Like I said, you make sure the Tin Soldiers go on Sharkery and Chongju, or Sharkery and Vector, because Chongju just sits there and ults every turn. She never makes any active attacks. Vector and Sharkery can continuously proc the Toy Soldiers, or the Tin Soldiers, generate a lot of overburn stacks for the team, generate a lot of instances of support attacks. It just works out way better. You have way more flexibility in the like order that you do things in. Like you can actually swap units around turn order wise. Like it used to be you kind of always had to have Sharkery go at the end because she usually didn't have enough confectants to double alt if she didn't. But with Lewis on the team, that kind of goes away. Other cool, really neat things is like on turn 1, Vector can immediately use Dead End Meltdown because she can alt the Tin Soldiers attack based off this alt, and then it applies Overburn because of the follow-up, so then you immediately can go into Dead End Meltdown. It's just very comfy overall for the team. The downside is the Ember stacks build up painfully slow, but that's not really the team's fault. That's just because of how they designed it, right? Like it's kind of meant that you're going to run more than one fire unit that uses the Ember mechanic on the team. Sakura is going to play into this a little bit, but the bigger one is going to be Lorelei, because Sakura and Lewis both don't generate. They have an awkward number that they generate. Lewis generates 6. Sakura, I think, also generates 6 a turn. I can't remember off the top of my head how many she generates, but it's kind of capped. Meanwhile, Lorelei can generate 8 from her alt, and then like another 4 or 6 on top of that. So anyway, the breakpoints become a lot more comfortable, because you got to remember, you don't get anything out of the Ember stacks. Does it even say in here? Is it Searing Flame? Thermal Conduction? So you don't even get anything out of this until you hit 35 stacks, right? So multiples of 6, that means 6 turns, right? That's really gross. Now, if you have 12, you're generating 12 a turn, that's 3 turns, right? If you're generating kind of a goofy number, let's say you're generating like 15, that's still 2 turns, or 3 turns, right? So, you know, going from 12 to 15 doesn't really do anything, but going from like 12 to 18 now makes it happen every 2 turns. So it's all about hitting the breakpoints with how many you generate a turn. And since 6 is kind of an awkward number, or divisions of 6 are awkward for this 35 stack limit, kind of, you know, it's weird. You want Lorelei, that's the short answer. And then maybe in the future, if they make another burn character that does Ember stacks, like maybe it'll work better. But so Lewis, I think, boots Kyohan out of the team. Now the problem is, this is where it all gets goofy, right? Kyohan, like this segment 6 just goes wild, and then all of a sudden you base the whole team around her. So you just see all these like weird takes about who's on the team, who's off the team, what the meta team is, and it's kind of a hot mess. Which is, I guess that's not really fair to say that it's a hot mess. It's good for team building. It's just very confusing when you're trying to get info online, and this is part of the reason I didn't do the guide. The guide started to get, I was like thinking about how to structure it. It got really messy really quick. Like, how do you, what do you base Lewis on, right? Do I base the guide off the fact that you're going to get a segment 0 Lewis, maybe her gun? Do I base the guide off the fact that at segment 6, she becomes her own, you know, Chongju turret of doom? Do I base the guide off the fact that you're going to borrow a Kyohan, or that you have one? And so then you care about, you know, individual instances of damage, right? It started to get really goofy and messy, and I'm like, you know what? I'm out. I'm not doing this. The game's meta is such a weird thing. As we talked about, we live in a world where the meta is the only thing people care about, but at the same time it means nothing because the only thing it affects is Gunsmoke Frontline. We have an entire community full of people that talk about how much they hate Gunsmoke Frontline, and to be honest, Gunsmoke Frontline is just a whale mode, right? Like you can easily just quote fix any problems in Gunsmoke Frontline by just getting more characters and more segments. So at that point, if that's the only thing that matters, and that's all people concern themselves about, like that's what dictates what units are good and what units are bad. But at the same time, like I said, that's not, like I said, half of the people don't even like doing Gunsmoke. So like when I, if I was to like poise a guide based off like units like viability or meta relevance based on Gunsmoke, what is the point for most people watching that when they just show up to look at feat picks every day, right? Like if their whole daily GFL experience is like log in, hit this horrible loop button, dump your resources, and then stare at feet for 20 minutes. Like, I mean, I guess that's a really long way of saying I'm probably not going to be doing any more guides or any more like stuff until we catch up to CN, because at this point I'm just so frustrated with the way that the game balance is going and with the way that information is getting drip fed to us. And by us, I mean the global side, right? Like I could turn this channel into Ernizzle makes a CN account and just gives you the CN side of the info, but I don't want to do that. And to be honest, I really shouldn't have to. The fact that we're stuck on a split release schedule, we're a year in, they said we were going to be catching up. We really haven't caught up very much. I don't see us catching up anytime soon, especially with the way they're releasing events. It's just a big freaking mess. I'll let you guys, people want to, if you want to look up character guides and stuff, just copy what CN's doing. At this point, it's like a do your own research type thing. There's nothing new for me to experiment with. There's nothing new for me to add my feedback on. And to be honest, I'm also getting a little tired of fighting the battles of, like I said, Lewis is a perfect example, fighting the battles of like what CN has ordained is the official prescription for how you use these units versus where they're at on like our side, right? Lewis is another good example because people are already starting to say things like, you don't need Lewis, you need either Lewis or Sakura at segment 0, and then you need Lorelei segment whatever 1 or 2, and that's the new meta team, right, for Fire. It's like, that's fine, but how does that help people today? And then we have issues where it's like there are release schedules all over the place, right? At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if we get Basti before we get AK-15. So it's just a freaking mess, man. Oof, sorry. That was a little bit of a rant. Does the free selector have an expiration date? Yes. Are you talking about for the outfit, or are you talking about for... So there's like 3 different ones happening right now. There's this one, right, where you get the weapon, which we talked about. This does end. And I'm pretty sure these go away because these are not like when you go to claim these, like you just got to pick up front. It doesn't go to like your storeroom here. The other selector is the costume selector, which we got in the mail the other day. This one here. This does have an expiration date of like a year from now. This is interesting. It says previously released outfits, and the only ones here are previously released outfits, but I've seen one that they're missing Diane's outfit from this list, and they're also missing somebody else's outfit. I can't remember who. And people apparently talked to customer service, and customer service said, oh yeah, they'll be added in the future. And then also for whales, that I've seen screenshots of whales who have every costume and tried to use it, and it said, you can't use this now because you have everything, but don't worry, in the future more will be added. So I think this is good for a year, and it will work on future costumes. Don't quote me on that. And I don't think anyone really knows for sure, but that's what we're going to go with for now until I have proof one way or another. Paul says, we caught up by a whole 6 months already. I'm not so sure about that, Paul. Like, we are on paper caught up 6 months, but are we really? Because we're still 3 major events behind, which I think is exactly how many major events we were behind when we released the game, because they had the major events spaced out a little more. We're running out of filler units to add, so it's going to be weird. I know, so think about it, Paul. That means at the earliest, if we continue along this schedule, it'll be next year when we catch up. I don't know if that's going to happen. I really don't know. Because they did this in GFL1 and they did this in Project NeuroCloud 2, where we would get close to catching up with them, and then we never would. We would get within like this time frame, 6 months, 4 months, I think was the closest we ever got for Project NeuroCloud. And then something would happen and they would just throw filler, they'd throw filler, and they'd throw nothing, and then they would never actually give us a server parity. So it's, I don't know, whatever. How do you get the Florence OST? You go to the background thing here, then you come up to the background music selection, and you can pick from all sorts of tracks here. And then the one I have here, whatever it is, Residual Echoes, this is all the event tracks. So like, where's Macchiato's, for example? Is it this one? Yeah, this is like Macchiato's one. This is Lynn's. This I think was the most recent one with Lava. So, but that's how you get these. And then this is obviously Florence's. I like the idea of having a different meta for offense and defense. Yeah. I just wish they would tie the two in better, right? You don't even, like I said, you don't even pay attention to standing cover anymore. A lot of the units like Andorus and like Andorus, between the fortified stance and the positive charge and stuff, it's like you don't even have her standing cover, and then she splits damage with everybody, so you kind of don't even care if they stand in cover. They've really kind of stopped paying attention to the stability system in the game. It's kind of weird. I wish they would balance offense and defense a little more, but it's also a little bit of a weird game design issue of nobody likes purely defensive units. They need to have offensive power in them, right? They either need to buff the team or they need to contribute sizable amount of damage while also giving survivability to the team. I think that is something they could aim for, but that's you got to be very careful when doing that, because it can mess up a lot of things. For example, if you have too many units that are defensive oriented but do a lot of damage, you could just end up in a world where you just take Andorus, Helen, Springfield, and you just have an invincible team that can never die because there's like, 10 million shields on everybody and overhealing and damage split, but you're also doing just as much damage as a lot of the other team comps. You got to be careful, because if you make them too survivable or too much damage, then just have these like go-to answers where it's like the short answer, the short way to fix that is like put turn limits on things, but then that feels really goofy too, because you're playing like a tug of war of like forcing people to grab DPS units. It gets messy. I don't know why they're not releasing anyone for Valentine's Day. Well, we got a little bit to go still. There might be a little bit of a surprise happening for that, but probably not for characters, because they're doing Chinese New Year's right now, which is why like Sakura is probably she's not Chinese, she's Japanese, but I don't know. I'm happy to get a free dupe on Sunday. Yeah, I'm going to be picking up Vector Segment 2. Because then, as we discussed earlier, having this apply Burning Assault every 2 turns and then having her ult go down to 2 turns with her
key, as well as being the quote healer for the team, is going to be pretty stacked, pretty cracked and stacked. And then the debuff cleanse is nice too. Anyway, you're gonna have to pry the cold for my cold dead hands, the old fire team. I'm not moving to the new fire team, and you can't make me. So we'll see. I think we're gonna call it there. Like I said, I'll be doing streams infrequently from here on out. As far as what days and stuff, I'll still try and, like I said, post it a couple days ahead of time. Don't expect too many guides in the future. Yeah, dude, that's my mood right there. That's my mood. I'm probably not going to be doing a whole lot of guides and stuff until we catch up with CN. I'm probably going to just kind of take it easy. I'm really going to use G41's release as the litmus test for the game's balance going forward. I'm deathly scared. I'm deathly scared of them messing up her kit because for me, she's, like I said, a very look forward to character. And their balancing has been all over the place, right? Sometimes the unit comes out, it's good. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it's good at segment 0. Sometimes it's horrible at segment 0, but it's busted as hell at segment 6. And it's just like, there's no rhyme or reason. Other times characters are good, but their mechanics are just so gross to work with. It's like, it feels horrible to use them. So we'll see. We'll see. Paul's gonna get that segment 1 Mishti. Hell yeah, dude. Like I said, I was looking at Mishti's segments after, I think it was you who told me about people were panic buying Mishti segment 6 to get kills and gunsmoke, and I'm like, you know what, Mishti, like, kind of growing on me. I kind of do want a higher segment Mishti, but I know that's not a really good, return on the tickets. Getting segment 4 Springfield, nice, dude. Segment 4 Springfield is... Segment 4 doesn't do anything special, but, like, you're just a little bit closer to segment 6, and that's pretty juice. I need you to make a cooking guide. I don't know what kind of guide I could possibly make for cooking. See, Mosin, weren't you sitting in this exact same spot at the beginning of the stream? It was you and it was Krolik right there. What's going on? Why did you just... I mean, there might be vodka in her drink here. I don't know. This could be some sort of umbrella drink with some Absolute. Yeah, that's what it was, Paul. Panic buying Mishi for Star Wars. That's what it was. Oh, the cooking... You know what? There is kind of a little bit of a meta to the... I think I know what you're talking about for cooking guides. You mean, like, which buffs to take? There is a little bit of some min-maxing you could do with this. But to be honest, I started experimenting with it and doing the math. And once again, I just like, I kind of backed off. I'm like, this is not necessary. The short answer is yes, these ones are the most powerful. Who would have guessed, right? Because they're the ones you unlock at level 25. 1% attack will outscale 1% or equal amounts of damage, right? So whatever, 1% burn, 1% corrosion versus 1% attack. Obviously, the caveat is to this, you have to be running a mono element team for this to matter. So if you have even 1 or 2 units that are not the burn element, for example, you're not going to get as much value out of this as just something generic. That's the problem with some of these other ones, right? Like targeted damage. The second you have an AoE unit, it starts to get not great. Where's the other one? Active attack. This one. I wanted to use this in Gunsmoke for the Tolol Hydro Fire team with Chongju, except that this doesn't affect Chongju, right? Because Chongju doesn't do active attacks. So, like, half of the damage dealers on your team are not getting the bonus from this. And I was borrowing a Niketa at the time, and half of Niketa's, well, more than half of Niketa's damage comes from out of turn attacks. So, like, this buff doesn't work. You'd have to get the other one, which is... One of these does out of turn damage, but whatever. You get the point. The point is, it's hard to, like, pick the correct one because you need to have a mono element team for it to really matter. So the short answer is just go with this one. It's easy, no think, brain off. How it is for a lot of things in this game. We get any... Is it still cold outside? Yeah, guys, it's still cold outside. Who would have guessed? Just checking. All right, I'm gonna go back to my safe space. Go back to my armory. Level up my food, bro? I don't need to level up my food. That's the thing. What does it matter? Do I need to level up my food for Gunsmoke when, you know, increasing my Gunsmoke score by 100 points is like... So Fletcher says, I found out it matters which cook you use for which buffs. I'm not sure what you're referring to exactly. See the cooking wine. I'm not sure. I have noticed that certain units, and I cannot prove this yet, but I almost want somebody to just data mine it so I don't have to think. But I have noticed certain units have an unnaturally high rate of success for making certain foods. Like, for example, those braised intestines or whatever that gave the boss damage one. I had Kyohan make those, and she, you know, she makes a comment about how it's your specialty dish, and she has made a perfect recipe of that 4 out of 5 times. I'm starting to get suspicious. And there's been a couple other units like that where it's like, it seems like every time they make a specific dish, it's like almost always a great success. So I'm getting a little suspicious. I'm starting to think there's some Illuminati work, and I want someone to just data mine it so I don't have to try and make a spreadsheet. Not that it, like I said, not that I would. We're over that much. We're over tryharding that much. Level my potatoes? Hell no, dude. You ain't fucking level. I ain't leveling no goddamn potatoes. There are better characters and also nationality bonuses. See, this is all hearsay, Paul. That's the thing. Just like my experience with, you know, Kyohan making the perfect meal 4 out of 5 times. That's just unproven hearsay. That's why I want someone to data mine it. I want someone to find the multipliers or the percent chances in the game files and just be like, look, see, here's the official answer. Okay, we're done. I'm in my safe space now. We're looking at all the guns. Everybody else logs into the game to look at feet. I log into the game to look at the gun wall here. I need to add some new guns to this, and there's a sword on the gun wall too, so don't at me. Like I said, we're going to keep G41 in the corner there. G41 is going to be our new mascot going forward until she gets released and until she comes to EN, so that could be a real long time. I hope they don't bot your kit. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, but we'll reconvene here next week. I think we're going to do a stream. I don't know, man. I really don't want to get Sakura. Like, I want to just save my tickets. We'll see how I'm feeling that day next week. And yeah, unfortunately, don't expect too many guides in the future. I'm probably not going to... Maybe if there's like a general overall like game system thing, like maybe like whatever. Like I did for the keys, the common keys. I might do a guide like that, but I ain't doing character guides anytime soon. All y'all can fight it out on Reddit and the Discords and Twitter and argue back and forth about this and that and just repeat things y'all said. I don't want no part of it anymore. That being said, though, you can still leave comments under my videos, and I will answer them the best I can. I'll answer with spicy hot takes, and you guys can post it all around the internet and, you know, flame me for it. But other than that, thanks anybody who watches this in the future. Thanks for everyone who showed up tonight. Like I said, sorry to be such a Debbie Downer, but you know, I don't want to be. I'm a paid Mika shill, but I'm also not a fanboy. I won't just, you know. I won't just eat everything they give me on a platter and say thank you. Can I have some more? I do complain when things are not right. So with that, we're ending the stream. I'm going to the where's my thing? Where's my screen? Thank you guys all for coming. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you guys in the future. Like I said, maybe next week, maybe the week after. We'll see. So. If not, y'all have a great one, and thanks for coming.